If you don't currently have a garden, this might be the year to consider putting one in. And if you already have a garden, you might want to think about making it a little bigger. Before we get into this, I want to ask the replay team something. Are you planning to grow food this year? And if you already garden, are you expanding your garden this season? Fuel touches almost every part of our food system. Diesel runs farm equipment, diesel transports the harvest across the country. Many synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides are petroleum based. Yes, farmers are still using those things. Now, if farmers want a way out, if you are a farmer right now listening to this with row crops and you don't want to use those things, check out AEA. I'll put a link in the description to their services and how they work with your crop with sap analysis and what your goals are for ROI. And let's get you broken from that system. Even the plastic packaging used for produce comes from petroleum. So when fuel prices rise quickly, the cost of producing and moving food rises right along with it. If we know the system is getting more expensive, the real question becomes what can we do about it starting now? So let's make a simple plan. We are here to talk about a solution. We're going to start with seeds. Search in any search engine, find a seed library near me. There might be free seeds available within a certain driving distance of you that you didn't know about. You can also search find a seed swap near me. This is a place where experienced gardeners bring seeds to swap, sell with other people. Usually it's with extension service programs. It could be happening this time of year near you. Ask people around you in whatever social media you use or by maybe there's a group you meet with weekly. Say, hey, do you garden? Do you have any seeds you would share? Do you know where to get a good deal on seeds? Before you even go to the store. Yes, the store is an option still at this point, but I'm trying to say get something another way if you have to. I don't know your budget, you do. Some gardeners every year share seeds, plants, cuttings, perennial divisions, crowns, all that kind of stuff. There's also organizations like Seed Savers Exchange and programs like free heirloom seeds that help gardeners access seeds and preserve them. So I will put links to those in the description to check them out if you're unfamiliar with them. Also, if you have SNAP benefits, you can use that card to purchase seeds and plants that produce edible food. So your tomatoes or some seedlings, herbs, beans, squash. To find a store, there is a locator website that says this store accepts your card and see if that store sells these kinds of things. I will put a link to that in the description. Next, we need to feed the soil, and we can do that for free with what we have access to in our region. So when you're building compost, that's what we need to start doing. Having your kitchen scraps, the leaves from your neighbors or your yard, grass clippings when you trim the grass, if you have coffee grounds accessible to you, putting your eggshells in your compost, putting all those things in layers. We can put links to how to build good compost in the description if you want to deep dive into that. Making teas or extracts with your first spring growth of grass and weeds. Maybe you have nettle and comfrey on your property, making those into a bucket with water and letting them sit and ferment, and then diluting that with water and applying that to your garden. We can talk more deeply about how to do that in the future, and I can link resources for that. Now, growing food. That's the purpose of this. Let's say it's a container garden. These are great for patios and balconies. You can grow lettuce, herbs, cherry tomatoes, peppers, potatoes, bush beans, carrots. Let me know what you would grow in a container. You can one up that and go into raised beds if that's your style. I'm not saying you have to. You can produce a lot in that square foot. Again, your bush beans, a zucchini plant, kale, carrots, cabbage, herbs, flowers, beets. These are just ideas to get you thinking. Only grow what you eat, please. In ground gardens are best for these larger production things like your calorie crops. So maybe some of this grows where you are. Potatoes, cassava, yucca, amaranth, quinoa, jicama, parsnips, beetroot, winter squash, corn like popcorn or dent corn, dry beans, 10 crops that feed you the most. I also want to say don't forget about perennials. So I'm going to read the 10 crops list pretty quickly. It's on the screen. Potatoes, winter squash, pole beans, zucchini, tomatoes, kale, sweet potatoes, garlic, leaf lettuce, and herbs. Now, the perennial game, it's however you want to play this. Rhubarb, and you might ask yourself, what am I supposed to do with rhubarb? If you want a rhubarb only video talking about all the ways to use it, let me know in the comments below. Is it a vegetable or a fruit? Let's talk about it. Things like asparagus, your fruit trees, your currants, chives usually come back every year depending on where you live. Like I'm in Minnesota zone 5A, chives come back every year. Those are things that work for you. You plant them once, you invest in them once, they keep coming back. If you cannot grow a garden, I am here for you as well. You can still support local food systems. So look for community supported agriculture programs, local farms, farmers markets, farm stands, farm direct sales. Here is a website, which I will link below, to look for a farmer's market near you. It's a master directory. I also will link resources for those of you in Minnesota because we have Farm Direct as well. Meals from the garden. So we're growing our garden. What do we want to eat? How do we want to use it? How would this look? Let's say we only have our garden. We could do a garden skillet with zucchini, onions, peppers, garlic, and eggs. Eggs from a local person. Me personally, I do not have chickens. I won't have chickens for a few years is how it looks for my plan. But I am planning down the road to try to do the chicken thing. For breakfast, potato, I don't know how to say this. Is it roast teas? Roast ties? Grated potatoes with cabbage and herbs. You can also put a fermented cucumber pickle on the side. I know some people put sauerkraut with their eggs. We can move on into a fresh garden soup. So your tomatoes, beans, herbs, carrots. For lunch, a salad with your kale mixes, some shredded carrots and beets. We always want to talk about sunflower seeds, right? And a cucumber, tomato, herb salad using your herbal dressing or a rhubarb juice. So if you have local maple syrup or honey available to you, that is also what goes well with a garden. There's also the garden salad bowl for peas, lettuce, cucumbers, radish, herbs. A fermented carrot. Have you had it? I like shredding, grating carrots and fermenting them with a little bit of ginger. Love it. Then you can ferment peppers, both sweet and hot, with some onions and garlic and make a hot sauce with some beans that you've grown. And if you are growing corn to turn into a tortilla, more power to you. I haven't learned how to do that yet, but now we're making a taco and we can even throw on a radish cabbage slaw. Dinner. Roasted root vegetables, carrots, beets, potatoes with herbs like your rosemary and sage is a popular blend. A side of steamed greens if you're into that. I don't eat cooked greens. I'm sorry. I like them raw. The snacking is your fresh fruit. So try to have something in season every month. That's a goal I have. Berries, peaches, apples, whatever grows where you are. Raw carrots, let me know your ideas for desserts from the garden in the comments below. Preserving the harvest is another piece to this. So ways to preserve is anything with freezing, fermenting, dehydrating, canning. Maybe you have a root cellar or a cold, dry place somewhere in your home. So that's your tomato sauce, drying the herbs, fermenting the peppers, freezing the veggies. Now, one of the most important pieces here, because this is where it starts to make sense year two, saving your seeds. Your seeds tell a story. They remember the gardener's hand. They adapt to your soil, your climate, and how you cared for them. Our ancestors, as humans, carried seeds in their pockets during times of battle and relocation. So if they got mugged, they still had their seeds in their pockets. Some sewed the seeds in the pocket. So when you turned it inside out, you couldn't tell there were seeds in your pocket. Saving seeds guarantees next year's food supply. It's free. The abundance of seed options at the store and online can disappear. People can buy them out. I want us all to start saving seeds. If you want to have a basic understanding of it, we have a video with Robin Gardens. I'll link that in the description on how to get started and tips and tricks on what to do and not do. We cannot control fuel prices. We cannot control global supply chains, but we can plant seeds. And sometimes the smallest seeds grow the greatest resilience. Can you believe? I am still shocked. I've been gardening for 8 years strong, and it's still amazes me that this little seed makes big food. Seeds are inexpensive. Regret can be very expensive. So if you feel like you're ready for the next step in your gardening journey, check out the next video, The Continuous Garden. Grow every day in every way.